Liverpool should be challenging for the Premier League title this season. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Yes, today's video is going to centre around that big statement right there. That Liverpool Football Club, in my honest opinion, should be challenging for the Premier League title this very upcoming season. Now, I'm not saying we should win it, but I am saying despite the fact that we've got a new manager at the helm in Arne Slot, we've got new coaching staff and everything else to go along with the new regime at the club, we still should be competing with the likes of Manchester City and Arsenal for the Premier League title come at the end of the season. We're going to be talking about that big statement right there. We're going to be talking about the Premier League a little bit as well and everything else in between. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section as well. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That'll make for great interesting reading, I'm sure, down below. Please do talk to me on this. Would love to hear from you all. Use and abuse that comment section at your will, people. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's talk Liverpool and the statement of that they should be challenging for the Premier League title this very campaign. Look, we are just over a week away now from the beginning of the new season. The new Premier League campaign begins again a week on Friday at the time of recording. And this is obviously a time where people start to come together to release their predictions on what the future may hold. Not just for their club, but for Premier League teams and other teams of other leagues in general. And of course, I wanted to just get it out there and just talk about my own team, because a lot's been talked about of Liverpool this summer. A lot has been made about how Liverpool will do, a lot of predictions being thrown out there and everything. And of course, it doesn't exactly add on to how well we'll do when people talk about our transfer window and our transfer activity being non-existent, I guess you could say, because of the lack of signings, the big fat zero signings that we've made this summer. But a lot of people have constantly talked about Liverpool's squad being still strong, still being good enough to compete. And I somewhat agree with that. I do somewhat agree with that. Now, there will be people out there that don't agree with me. People will be saying we should be competing for top 4 and that should be it. Why? Okay, we have a new manager. We have new coaching staff. Our players are the same squad as last year, but are a year older. Why should we be settling for top 4? Why? Why can't we challenge? I don't think we will win. I don't think we'll win the league. I think we are still 2, maybe 3 positions off winning a Premier League title. And if we'd have gone out this summer and we'd have laid down some real statements, we'd have got a defensive midfielder, for example. We'd have got a left winger, for example. A striker, maybe, that's more prolific in front of goal and that's reliable in terms of availability as well. I would have probably said, you know what? Maybe we could win. I still think at the time of recording, with no signings, with a new manager, with new coaching staff, new ideas, that isn't exactly going to completely click overnight, but may click gradually as the season wears on, more and more so. I still think we have the 3rd best team in the Premier League. I don't want to give too much away, but I may have already done so in terms of my Premier League predictions video, which will obviously come out next week, just before the beginning of a brand new campaign. But I still think Liverpool have the 3rd best team in the Premier League. Now, looking at it, we have had a very good pre-season so far in terms of results, in terms of performances. We can see what Arne Slot wants to try and do with this team. We've looked decent going forward. We've sometimes lacked a little control in certain games, and I think the reason for that is a lack of a proper DM, which I think if we don't sort out by the end of this transfer window is certainly going to come back to bite us, whether it be immediately, whether it be somewhere later down the line, who knows. But I think that will certainly come back to bite us if we don't sort that out in this transfer window. But yeah, 3 wins out of 3 on a pre-season tour in America is not bad at all for Arne Slot. We've still got 2 or 3 more friendlies to go between now and the beginning of the season. It's looking a bit more optimistic and promising than I originally gave it right before a ball was even kicked under the Arne Slot era. But there are still things that need to be sorted out. There are still things that need to be addressed. And like I say, a few of them areas are new signings. We are in desperate need of new signings. I don't think the likes of Endo and Bajcetic in that CDM role and that number 6 role is going to cut it throughout the entirety of the season. Bajcetic maybe, but he's still a kid at the end of the day. He's still a very inexperienced kid. Endo, for his experience, for his leadership, fantastic. But at the same time, I don't necessarily think he's good enough. And never have done. Last season, he did better than what I expected. Fantastic. But as a long-term sustainable sort of player in that position, I don't think he cuts it. I just don't think he necessarily cuts it. And I think there are better out there than Endo, with all due respect. The left wing position, Luis Diaz is 28 years of age. He's not going to get any better than what he is right now. And that's saying a lot, considering the guy technically is very gifted. But he's aesthetically pleasing. He's pleasing on the eye. But goals and assists and clinical moments win you games. And this guy just doesn't have it at a consistent level. It will score you a few goals here and there. He'll get a couple of assists here and there. But he doesn't have it consistently. He doesn't have it on a consistent and thorough basis throughout an entirety of a season. He just doesn't. Unfortunately, he just does not. He'll be very nice. He'll dribble past a few players. He'll do a bit of skill, a bit of flair here and there. But when it comes to that final ball, when it comes to being clinical in the final third, the guy just does not have it. And that's where I'm worried. Darwin Núñez up front. Diogo Jota is our best finisher. He's not exactly reliable to be available with his injury problems. Darwin Núñez up front is another one like Luis Diaz. When he's on fire, he's very, very good. And he's difficult to handle and he's difficult to stop. But he's very, very inconsistent. He's very, very inconsistent. And he can go from scoring an absolute worldie. He can go from scoring a fantastic goal, brilliant, calm, cool, collected finish, to them missing a very simple one-on-one, to missing an open goal. The inconsistencies of this team still shine through for me and still worry me as cause for concern. In terms of the back four and the goalkeeper, yes, there can be room for improvement there, but I don't necessarily think it's a main priority as of this instant. I think there are other priorities further up the pitch that need to be addressed. But obviously we will need to keep an eye on them as the season progresses, and obviously as the Arne Slot era hopefully continues to progress and hopefully is successful. But yeah, I still worry about certain inconsistencies of this team. But in saying all of that, we still should be competing for the Premier League title. Because we had the same team as last year that competed for a title right the way until the final 4 or 5 games of the season. We were still in the title race till then, until obviously we capitulated at the end. We just blew up towards the end of the season. Yes, we have a new manager, but even so, the way our football club is run, the way that we've conducted our business in previous years to get the team, to build the team that we have today, still should be enough to see us be title contenders. Not title winners, not title winners, but title contenders. That is where we should be. And that's where we should be aiming for as Liverpool fans, because we expect and demand the best. And, you know, we should be competing on multiple fronts throughout the entirety of the season. We've still got a Carabao Cup to defend. Okay, many people will scoff at that, will laugh at that, but it is still a trophy at the end of the day and could obviously be a catalyst for Arne Slot to maybe say, right, this is the stepping stone for my era. This is the stepping stone for my Liverpool team. That kind of thing. We've, of course, got the FA Cup, which we will hopefully want to do better in this season. We've, of course, got the Champions League to compete in this season. New format for the Champions League, of course, but something that is going to be very interesting and exciting to obviously be a part of. And then, of course, Premier League itself, which we should be contenders for. We should be competing and we should be in a title race for. To win it would, at this stage, be a bit out there to say. I still think the overall favourites are Manchester City based on history and Arsenal based on the kind of business that they are looking to do this transfer window, as well as obviously their recent history of going close on 2 occasions and just coming up short on both occasions. But Liverpool should be, and Liverpool fans should be demanding this. And if there are Liverpool fans out there that want to kind of question it, or want to kind of question why we shouldn't be going for the Premier League title, I want to know why. Seriously, drop in the comments and tell me why. Why do you think that that won't be acceptable? Why do you think that it won't be a case of us competing? Because the way I see it, we have the same team as last year that got us to a certain point in the season and then dropped off completely. We have a new manager, but it's not exactly like our club isn't, or we don't claim our club isn't run particularly well from the inside. Whenever it comes to recruitment, whenever it comes to finding successors to players and things of that nature, we claim to have a very well-run club, so why should it be different for a manager? If we trust in Michael Edwards, if we trust in Richard Hughes, if we trust in all of these guys to make the decisions off the pitch, and we say that we're a well-run club, why shouldn't Arne Slot be able to get us to compete this season? That's just my thoughts on it. Those are just my thoughts on it. We should be demanding that. I think a 3rd place finish, as long as it's a safe and sound and secure 3rd place finish in which we are quite comfortable and also not a massive amount of distance away from the likes of Manchester City and Arsenal, but if we are a safe amount of distance away from them 2 teams, I think we can look on that as, at least from a domestic Premier League level, a decent season and a decent platform to build upon for future seasons to come under Arne Slot. I think that would be a very good base to build stuff off. But it can be so much better. And again, it does rely on FSG and Michael Edwards to pull their finger out towards the end of this transfer window. We'll obviously need to find and identify the right players to bring in to the football club that will obviously fill those positions that I've talked about earlier on in the video, to strengthen them and to upgrade on them. And if we are to do that, then maybe my expectations will be upgraded to maybe, you know what, maybe we can be title winners. But for right now, title contenders is where I'm looking at. Title contenders as the 3rd place team, as the 3rd best team in the Premier League is what I'm looking for. And I don't think there's anything that I've said that's too outrageous in this video, and I don't think there's anything that I've said that is completely out the realms of possibility or out the question for Liverpool to compete with and to achieve this season. So, at least from a domestic level, I'm saying 3rd place with a comfortable distance away from 4th, and obviously not too much of a distance away from the top 2. But those are just my thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of the Arne Slot era so far at Liverpool, and what do you make mainly of Liverpool's ambitions for the forthcoming season? I'd love to know what you guys think and feel about all of that stuff down below in the comment section. Where do you think Liverpool should be aiming to finish this season? Do you think they should be title contenders? Do you think they should be just happy with competing for top 4? Or do you think that under the new era they will drop even lower than that? I want to know what you guys are thinking and feeling. Your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings. Whatever you want to call it will make for great and interesting reading, I'm sure, down below in the comment section. So please do use and abuse that comment section, people. Talk to me on this. We'd love to hear from you all. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things always and forever greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. And I will see you speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.